Good afternoon, everyone. I am Henida Viston, and I will discuss about a framework for improving the accessibility of assessment tasks. The first framework is about accessibility of assessment. It is an access in the context of educational testing refers to the opportunity for a student to demonstrate proficiency on a target skill. According to Kittler et al. 2009, accessibility is not seen as a static property but instead as the result of an interaction among the test features and person characteristics that either permit or inhibit student responses to the measurement. Limited accessibility can have various causes that may threaten the validity score interpretation in different ways, depending on the assessment purpose. A first source of limited accessibility pertains to the situation where test takers do not yet master the target skills. If this is the case, a conclusion might be that the test taker needs to go through an extended or adapted learning process. Second, a lack or hard access capabilities is a well-documented source of access problems. Due to some sort of disorder or handicap, a student is not able to process task information or to respond to the task. For instance, test takers with a visual or auditory impairment, a motor disorder rather, may lack necessary capabilities to have access to a test item. For these test takers, the validity of inferences is compromised when they cannot access the items and tasks administered to them and with which they are required to interact. To improve accessibility for students with special needs, an example of reducing barriers and increasing accessibility is the provision of a read-aloud assessment administration. Another framework is the principles that underlie accessible assessment design. In this, we have two principles. The first one is principles from universal design. It is to address the challenge of designing and delivering assessment that are accessible to and accurate for a wide range of students. Principles of universal design have been applied to the design, construction, and delivery test. According to Dolan and Hall, therefore propose that tests be designed to minimize potential sources of construct relevant variance by supporting the ways that diverse students interact with the assessment process. Second principle is from cognitive load theory. In cognitive load theory, it is assumed that any instructional task, including an assessment task, has a certain amount of intrinsic task load. So what is intrinsic task load? It is directly related to the learning material or task and defined by the number and interactivity of elements that have to be processed. However, test items may also address learnable access skills which are not part of the target skill, such as reading a text or understanding a picture. In addition, the test item may address hard capabilities such as eyesight, quality of hearing, and short-term memory. So what is the difference between the intrinsic to extrinsic task load? In extrinsic task load, it is caused by the instructional design of the learning material. Whenever the learner must invest mental resources into processes that are not relevant for the task itself, searching for or rephrasing information. test takers are forced to use skills that are not necessarily related to the target skill, but which do require cognitive resources. According to cognitive load theory, different cognitive mechanisms can be involved in causing extrinsic load. The first one is quantitative overload. More information is presented than is strictly necessarily for the assessment task. The second one is the deception. In this, information sets off thinking direction that prevent test takers from arriving at a correct solution. Third one is missing information. The test taker cannot get a complete problem representation due to missing information. Split attention. Test takers have to keep elements of information from different locations in their short-term memory to be able to respond to the task. Next one, redundancy effect. The task presents redundant information that causes an extra memory load. The last one is interference effects. In this, verbal and visual information contradict or differ in nature, causing additional processing load for the test taker. In the third framework, which is evaluating and improving accessibility of assessment tasks from a test taker's perspective. In order to prevent unnecessary extrinsic task load, it is important to evaluate assessment tasks, the items or assignments, on possible sources of inaccessibility as described, and modify this task accordingly. For that purpose, an excellent tool has already been developed, which is the Test Accessibility and Modification Inventory, or TAMI. The TAMI tool used to evaluate and improve items accessibility, predominantly structured into 5 categories that represent the typical format of items. The first one is the item stimulus, items theme, visuals, answer choices, and item layout. TAMI model is used in the context of item development and item piloting in 2 ways, according to Rule Loops 2016. First, the structure of the screening device is built around the cognitive and self-regulative processes that test takers engage in and when solving an assessment task. Second, in addressing the accessibility of parts of an item, we deliberately separated guidelines in order to create an intrinsic task load and to prevent extrinsic task load. An accessible assessment task forces the test taker to perform at his best without giving away the answers on the items. For the conclusion regarding of this article, for teacher who is constructing tests, it is important that the sources of construct irrelevant variants are minimized in order to enable valid interpretations about the test takers. And generally, despite the importance of assessment in education today, few teachers receive much formal training in assessment design or analysis, which really needed to help us improving in the accessibility of assessment tasks. That's all, and thank you everyone for listening today.